Hi, Christine. How's your energy?
My energy is bomba.
Always bomba. Always bomba. Thank you, Christine, for joining me. Actually, Christine was the first one to know about this challenge. When I had this idea of the challenge, I called Christine. I said, Christine, I know you launched Grounded Positivity, and everyone in 2020 was afraid to test positive, huh? But we all needed positivity. We all needed positivity in our life, and the concept of grounded positivity that Christine will be talking about during her intervention tonight is needed for everyone, not only entrepreneurs. And when I said we want to make your 2021 the best year ever, the first person I thought of was Christine, because her grounded positivity and her positivity really impacted me. I've met Christine, I guess, 10 years ago or 8 years ago. And since then, I was really amazed by what she's doing, especially that we are all aligned on the same values, and we love to give back to entrepreneurs. So, Christine, thank you for joining me today. We will start your intervention in 5 minutes just to keep on time. But I just want you to welcome everyone with me, add more of your energy, and maybe introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, Andre. Actually, I'm honored to be the first one to hear about your challenge of this year, and it's definitely very much needed. And I like to say that you're the first one who have noticed the concept while I was still building it through posts that I was putting on on my social media. And if we want to go a little bit on the story of how this started, it all started with the revolution on the 17th of October, when we slept one night and woke up one day, and the whole world, our whole world has changed relevant to Lebanon at that time. And as we know, since then, nothing has been, rock bottom yet. And I think we're still far from it. And I speak about Lebanon, and then the collective shock that came, and what was universal was COVID. But I would say that we were kind of dealing with much deeper things on. So I'm going to share, talk and presentation. What are the questions that I was asking myself, and how I came about this concept. But before I start, I would like to present myself. Andre, thank you again, and thank you for everybody who's with us today. We're so excited, and I'm so excited not only to be a speaker, but also to be attending the rest of the 5 days, because I know that no matter how much we know, no matter how much we've tried and we've explored, there are always opportunities to learn, and openness to learning is one of the key factors of creativity. And I want to make sure that as many I understood from you also be posted again later. So my name is Christine. I'm a leadership and a culture transformation. My journey with coaching started some 13 years ago, and I'm going to share with you some of the events and what I've learned, and how I was able to connect the dots in the most challenging time for us in Lebanon and then all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine, again. For everyone, let me tell you how this will go during all this week. The speaker will introduce themselves at the beginning. Then they will go with 15-minute intervention. They will share their biggest strategy to make your 2021 the best year ever. Then we will ask about the giveaway. Most of them have giveaways or handouts. We'll tell you more about it. And we will have one challenge for each one of you. When you answer this question, which is the challenge, you will be eligible to get the giveaway. As I said, every day 5 people will get the giveaways given by the speakers. At the end, on Saturday, I'll tell you more about how you can grab all the giveaways. So thank you, Christine, again, for telling us about the grounded positivity. I'll give you all the floor for you, and I'll switch to speaker view so you have all the screen for 15 minutes.
Okay, so I need you to allow me to share because I'm gonna share some slides, just people through some
Of course.
visuals so they can, the concept
Go
would
ahead.
be much easier. So starting with how, first of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody from wherever you are. I know plenty of people are joining from different places of the world. So welcome to the Grounded Positivity Talk. And I've introduced myself already. So I want to ask you some questions just to see how things resonate with you. And these actually are the main questions that I asked myself in order to connect the dots, as I said earlier, be able to develop this concept and to use all the skills tools that I have learned through my journey. So basically, have you ever wondered what really drives you to get out of bed every morning, irrespective of what's going on around you? Have you ever understood how your decisions are made and what drives them? And have you ever thought of what could really possibly be the difference between a good day or a bad day? And have you ever wondered how some people or some businesses thrive in any circumstances, irrespective of what's going on? So if you haven't, during my journey of certifying as a coach and working with people and my endless learning journey, because I have the archetype of a student, I would say, I have come to 3 aha moments in my life that really, really made the whole difference for me. So today, I'm going to share with you what are these aha moments and how am I using them actually to become more positively grounded and to support other people to be grounded with positivity. Positivity is a big word, but we have to understand that no matter how positive we are, and this is something that was shared by Tony Robbins, no matter how positive we are, the sun will always rise in the east and set in the west. So it's all about being grounded and understanding what are the things that are going around us. So basically, what are these 3 moments in my life that really made the difference for me? Actually, the first thing is when I was first training as a management coach and mentor, and I first came around values and I understood the power of values and in the way of how they drive our decision making, how they affect the quality of our relationships, and how they affect our goal setting and our success in goals. For me, that was really, really a light bulb moment. At that time, I did not understand why I've done what I've done, why I left an excellent job, a very well-paying job where I had a very good status, and moved into my new journey as a coach. And suddenly, everything made sense to me. That was quite a revelation. I was driven by values that I was not able really to name in words that made me take this decision. And that was actually one of the reasons I became a leadership and a culture transformation coach in order to support people and companies develop adaptive culture for them to be able to drive results. The second aha moment was actually when I was also studying. I was introduced to a writer that's called Viktor Frankl, and I've shared this with Andre the other day. And I was reading the book, and then suddenly I came to this sentence that says, everything can be taken away from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances and to choose one's own way. So for me, that was the power of the attitude and the choice. A little background about this book specifically. Viktor Frankl was a psychologist who was locked in an Auschwitz in Austria, and he lost all his family. He did not know whether they survived the whole thing or not. And every day he woke up, he was expecting that this day he's going to be sent to the gas chamber. But what really kept him going and kept the people within his cell going is understanding the power of attitude and the power of choice. And last but not least, one of the most amazing things that I also came across, having lived in Lebanon and having survived many crises, many wars, many explosions, I was able actually, I got more curious to understand what really sets people apart. Why do people crumble and, get stuck, and how other people thrive? And this is when I was introduced to Carol Dweck behind the concept of the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And fascinating was the understanding that both mindsets are available for us. It's a matter of choice and a matter of awareness, which one to access at what time. And if you'd like to understand more about the mindset, please go and read a little bit more, or you can also see her TED Talks. They're very inspiring, and she always speaks about the power of yet. So these were 3 defining moments in my life. We have all gone through a lot of changes, and we have lost what we know, the old world we know, and we are being faced with a lot of news. So how do we deal with this, and how do we come out of it? This picture for me is super significant, because sometimes when you hold on to something that is no longer working for you, more damage happens than when we really let go. So it's all a matter of how we look at things. What do I want to do? What are my choices? And the power of choice is really important. Where do I have control against where I don't have control? So I can never reach something new if my hands are full with yesterday's junk. So it's time to start looking forward and not looking backward. And in no way am I saying that we do not really need from what we've gone through so far, and to understand what are our strengths and what we need also to bring forward that will give us the push and drives us in order to move forward. And then again, I come back and I say, I'm happy to be the first session with you, Andre, today, because values are at the heart of everything. Values are our internal drives and our internal motivation. And this is really understanding them and having the clarity around them is one of the key components of grounded positivity. What is grounded? It's not only looking outwards and seeing what is working, what is not working, and where do I have control, and where don't I have control. And it's not only focusing on what I can control, but it's also understanding what is important for me and what do I really want to achieve in this time, and how I'm gonna be values driven in order to achieve it. What I'm talking about requires a lot of courage and requires a lot of daring, if I might say. But if you are not courageous enough and daring enough to stand up, to show up and step up in these times, unfortunately, things are not going to happen to us, neither on a personal level nor on a business level, and we're not going to be able to create the new. What made me very curious, again, is reading a lot of articles, studies by people like Kinsey, IFC, the Barrett Center, and to understand really what is behind the companies that thrived during this crisis. And now we're moving a little bit beyond Lebanon, but also within Lebanon. And I had the opportunity to work with some of those companies in Lebanon, and I have used the concept of grounded positivity with them in order to help them pivot and step up in order to create the new, or what is new, the new for them as a company. So the common attributes of leadership that drove themselves and their companies into sustainability, I would say, and some of them growth. And it's funny enough that most of the time in turbulent times, people are able to create opportunities and not only increase their business, but also increase their products or open new markets, so on and so forth. These qualities were communication, a high level of social and emotional awareness, so understanding what's going on internally, externally, creativity, and finding quick solutions, innovation, adaptability. And the most important thing is a shift in resiliency from what we call the traditional resiliency, moving into the adaptive resiliency. And some people might be also wondering, what does that mean? Yeah. So I'm just gonna give you an idea about resiliency and how resiliency has moved within these times. So traditional resiliency is looking backwards, is understanding what we've done in similar circumstances, what we've learned, and how we can use this today. And this actually happens after something has happened or a change externally has taken place. Whereas adaptive resiliency, and this is also one of the key components of grounded positivity, is when we mitigate risk. We think of what could go wrong actually and how we can mitigate it ahead of time. And I'm going to give you a simple example. Countries that are hit by tornadoes every year, people who have been hit before become adaptive resilient because they know they have been hit. However, those who haven't and have put so much effort into stocking and whatever usually say, nothing happened to me last time, it's not going to happen to me now. So this is quite a little nuance between how we look forward and how we anticipate in order for us to navigate any time. And guess what? We all know that change is the only constant, yeah? And it's important to understand what is the difference between change, because change is happening all the time, and what is the difference between, and what is transition. So another something that really supported me, myself and my clients, and has always been, has become a very crucial component of grounded positivity, is understanding that difference. So change is something that happens, and it happens to us. It happens outside of us. It happens so fast, and sometimes we don't have a say in it, and we might not be happy, right? So what are we going to do? Do we play the victims or shall we play the heroes? And being a hero actually is accessible to every one of us. The only difference is when we understand what transition is and how we navigate transition, it makes the whole the difference. So transition is an internal process that takes place in our mind. It's a longer process. And the good news is this is where our power lies. And this is how we can access our growth mindset in order to achieve what we want to achieve. So change is rational, transition is emotional, and change, rational plus transition, emotional, equals behavioral change. Going back to the point two, what used to serve us before no longer serves us. The transformation that has occurred during the past 6 months, I would say, and I'm not talking about Lebanon, I'm talking about more than 9 months, COVID has been faster than 6 years. I mean, in 6 months, we have been able to adapt to many things we thought will be happening in 2025 and 2030, from remote working to digital transformation. Everything that we thought will take more time, we had to do in a very short time. And the people who were able to be successful in doing this are the people who were able to plan their transition in order to create the behavioral change. What is required from us today is not only a mind shift, it's also a behavioral shift. And how do we do that? We do that by being aware of the phases of transition, how we can navigate it, and how we can move forward. So transition has been inspired by the model of bridges, which is the transition model actually. And what is it? Every change starts with an ending. We lose something. So when we lose something, it means it's time for us to create something new. And this is the opportunity in it. So what are we looking for? Are we looking backwards on what we've really lost? Or are we looking forward on what new beginnings can we create and what new normal we can create? So basically going through the model very quickly, because this is quite a very powerful model that is used for both personal and business. We'll go through it very quickly. So when we lose something, and in order for us to move to the other stage, we need to accept. Again, we need to ask, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to bring forward? And what are my strengths that will get me there? The neutral zone is not a very comfortable zone either, because here you can either decide to operate from a fixed mindset or from a growth mindset. And when you choose, and I say when you choose, because it's not conditional, it's a choice. what do I need to do differently? And ask yourself and revisit your values, your vision, your mission. And if we're talking about your product, what does still work for my customer outside? What are the needs outside? And what do I need to change internally? And what opportunities, do I see? So again, if we look at this phase, we need to communicate properly, we need to be creative, innovative, and we also need to be operating from a growth mindset. And once we are able to do that, we understand what we need to be starting, or what do we need to start doing, if you want to call it. And one of the most important things is what also we need to learn. So having an open mind to unlearn, and Andre, I'm going to go back to this post that you put the other day. What do I need to unlearn in order to move forward? And what do I need to learn is actually another magic trick in that perspective. And then from that place, we will be able to understand what new beginnings are like. We will have more insight. We will start taking action. And we need to start integrating everything we know, we've learned to create the new normal. And these are all skills that I think when put together, they will be able to give you the foundation of making 2021 your best year yet. And why do I say so? Because you all know, how many of you, and if you are many and Andre can see you, please raise your hand, have been setting yourself what you call a New Year's resolution and setting goals and nothing happens. You're excited the first 2 weeks and then you go back to your ordinary world and things collapse. Or some of us do achieve them. I just don't want to be like categoric, but most of us don't. And I am one of these people, because when I set these goals and they're not really based in the foundation and they're not really coming from a place of awareness with a plan and understanding everything I need to do, I also fail in them. So today, I'm going to share with you 8 key components of grounded positivity, and I would call them the skills and the tools, and I'm sharing them with you, but it's not limited to that exactly, because there are a lot of things we can do. But I have chosen what I believe are the most important, and they are 8. So the first one is clarity on values. Who am I and what's important for me and what drives me really is key, because this is not only key for my decision making, it's also key for creating the vision, for creating everything from my personal goals to my business goals and where I want to take myself and the business. So my question for you is, what is most important for you? The second thing is, the second is self-awareness. We all hear about emotional intelligence, and more, and especially during this time, they still call them soft skills. For me, I think they have become the hard skills by which we have to live. Because if we're not that, we're not going to be able to go far or achieve much or make any difference to ourselves, our world, I'm going to say at large. So having a high level of self-awareness alone is not enough. So understanding what's going on internally without actually having some behavioral control on how we come across and how we deal with matters is like another one. Wisdom is not knowledge. Wisdom is when we are able to put things in action. So how self-aware we are and how much we're able to understand how our behaviors or how we drive our behaviors is really important. And the power of choice that I spoke to you about, our attitude is our power. So how do we get out every morning? What are the choices we make every day? Remember one thing, choices in life are linear. They are not one moment. They go with us, far in the future. And the other thing that I've always, that I also included is also the growth mindset, the mindset I spoke about. And remember, it's also accessible to all of us. So these are the first four. Moving forward, sorry, okay. So it is also about understanding our interferences. And here I'm going to talk about interferences very quickly on two levels. There are the interferences that come at our values level, and this is what we call potentially limiting values. It is the entropy, the dysfunction that stops us from performing at our best. And this needs a session by itself, but I just want to give you a full spectrum. And it's also our internal and external interferences. And I always want to remind you that the control we have is usually on our internal interferences. So what are the things that are stopping me in order to achieve or to perform? The other thing we need to be really comfortable with are the newbies. And what are the newbies? If I ask you, how many new things have you done, or have you learned, or have you had to learn since, I'm going to talk about COVID, since our audience is from around the world? There was a saying that goes like, when was the last time that you did something for the first time? For me now it is, when was the last time that you did something that you do all the time? So there has been this shift. So our capacity of being comfortable with discomfort is very important. Checking reality outside of us and our capacity internally of how to deal with it is key. And the third thing is also having a clarity on what it is we want to achieve and what are the things we need to learn and skills we need to learn in order for us to move forward with the new things. And if I ask you to read this sentence, and Andre knows it very well, so this is opportunity. Understanding and looking for opportunities is really key. So we can operate from a mindset that says opportunity is nowhere, or opportunity is now here. And both of them are also available for us. So it is our drive to look not only outside of us to see what are the opportunities, but also to look internally to see what are we capable to do with these opportunities. Last and not least, it's also by looking forward. And I'm not saying in any way you don't have to learn from the past, but it is our capacity to stand and understand that the world as we knew it is no longer the world as we're going to know it. And it is an opportunity for us to make it better and to put our efforts to be the change and to transition into a new normal, with all the components and all the skills that we have that will support us to do so, basically. How am I doing on time?
You're done? That's time already.
Yeah, I'm done.
Great, great. Thank you, Christine. If you stop sharing, we go back to. Thank you for this grounded positivity, and I'm sure that everyone here should have read that opportunity is now here, because we are
I hope so.
Yes, looking always for opportunities, and that's what we do. Our mission is connecting entrepreneurs to opportunities. Christine, what would be your challenge for everyone in our community?
My challenge for them actually is looking at everything that was shared with them today and understanding what are the strengths within what we've discussed, because I'm sure they have a lot. And the most important thing is, what are the gaps? Because if we don't understand what the gaps are, we cannot get where we want to arrive. So basically, it's begin with the end in mind. How is my 2021 looking, or what is my ideal 2021 going to be? And then looking backwards in the sense of not looking backwards, breaking it backwards into, if these are the key things that I need to support me to achieve what I want to achieve. Am I clear on my values? Do I know what really drives me? Am I accessing my growth mindset? Do I understand what I control against what I don't? So let them put themselves up to the challenge to see how are they doing on these 8 components, and what do they need to develop, and what do they need to learn, and then start setting goals accordingly.
I know you shared with me a giveaway. So what would the handout include?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said you shared with me one giveaway. What does it include?
Yes. It includes the wheel of grounded positivity, where I take them through the process of assessing themselves on each of these 8 areas. And I'm saying they're not comprehensive, but as a good start, where do they see themselves now? And then looking at that wheel when they connect the dots, and have a look and imagine if this wheel was the 4 wheels of their car, how bumpy is their ride in 2021? And then how they can really break things down into achieving what they want to achieve. So this is my giveaway. And I hope the 5 who are going to get it will enjoy it. And please do reach out for me. And this is part of what we've done today and what I've promised Andre. The 5 of you, if you need any support on working with this wheel and the goals, this is my gift to you as well. You can reach out to me. You have my number, you have my email, and we can work on this together.
Great. I just included the link for the 5 Forward Challenge. When you subscribe to this 5 Forward Challenge, you will have more details about how to get these giveaways from Christine and the other speakers, and also how to watch the replays later on, because as I said, the replays will be available only for 24 hours. Thank you, Christine. I wish you all the positivity except the test.
And I just want to remind our audience about the power of yet. Nothing is impossible. You always have to remember, yet this is what I need to do, but it's all about taking action. And enjoy 2021, and may it be the best year yet ever. Thank you, Andre, for hosting me.
Thank you. Let's see some thumbs up in the comments for Christine. I already see Intisar. She said, love this. Thank you so much, Christine. And Hussein, thanks, Christine. Thank you from all our community.